Check, check. All right, here we are. Live, ready for our next roll reveal. This is reveal number 489. It is a 1947 Philadelphia plastic tube roll. So I'm looking to see if there are a few other people. Hello, Ramazani Kasindi. Let's see if we have other people show up. I had a bunch of people who were going to follow me over here from a different broadcast this evening. There's Farm Dog. And Farm Dog can hear me, I'm sure, right? So I'm going to go ahead and open up this 47 Philadelphia roll. See what kind of action we look like we have here. Oh my gosh. These are pretty nice. Looks pretty nice from where I can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these started here. There's Parviz, there's Jeffrey, Cap Morgendollar, Malcolm. Let's see who's first. First up comes Raymond Longy. Raymond will be the first coin in this 1947 roll, and the first coin here. Wait a minute. I've got it started up all right, but I just got to get it in focus. There we go. We're in focus now. Now, 47 is either going to be very nice or very dry, one or the other, because there are only a few double dies known in this particular issue, and all of the ones known are nice. There are double die obverses and reverses both known. So, because of that, we're going to be looking at both sides of these coins for any possible hub doubling. I don't see anything on this one, but this is a nice red gem coin. I know it's got a few hits on it, a few nicks, but you do too if you look in very small detail. But the overall, you look just fine. So does this coin. So there's coin number 1 for Mr. Raymond. Now let's see coin number 2 here. Coin number 2 goes to Malcolm along with this Sherman hair right here. There we go. Get that out of the way. Coin number 2 is this little guy right here. Now what you're looking for in the main large nice double die for the year is for the 4-7 to really be nicely doubled with good nice notches at the corners. This one does not have it because it is not the double die. But there is entirely some chance we could find something like that in this roll, so we are going to keep looking. Around the eye, it looks like I've got die scratches headed toward the southeast. We can remember that and make sure that we watch for that to see that we have a good original roll here, even though we've got nothing here. Actually, we do, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be worth really messing with. If you look carefully at the top of the E and the top of the T, top of the E and we and the top of the T in trust, you'll see that they're convex in shape, which means that they curve inward. I'm sorry, they're concave in shape. Convex means bow outward. Concave means curve inward. Concave curved inward on the E and the T of trust, or we trust, and on the outside of the L and the I and the B in liberty. That means it's a class 6 distended hub double die, and it is a very, very minor one. Not enough for us to really want to mess with, because in circulated condition, that would pretty much disappear. And I don't want to limit collecting of varieties to uncirculated coins only, because that would make them, well, unreachable for some people. And I like this to be a fun hobby for all. We got nothing here on the reverse, so we have a normal coin for Malcolm. And I'm sorry, I still have this free hair for you. So see it right there? You can see it right there in the corner. And I'll see if I can preserve this free hair for you. That's a Sherman hair. Here we go. Boy, I really don't know that that's going to stick around, so it's okay, though. There will be plenty of them in the future. You'll have your chance eventually. Hello, Wanda. Good evening, Wanda. Mr. French gets coin number 3. Let's see what coin number 3 has on it, if I can find it under the scope here. There we go, coin number 3. Well, it's another pretty 1947 Lincoln cent, but it does not appear to be anything more than the last coin we looked at. This looks like that could be hub damage of some sort. That curvature and the LI and the we and the trust, because it looks the same as the last one, but it's a different die. So it could be a doubled working hub instead of a doubled die, which would mean that the doubling occurs higher up in the die making process, higher up in the pyramid, which means this is a master to the working dies. The hub itself would have doubling on it. And if that happens, what you end up with are a lot of dies that have the same doubling. Each of those dies makes a couple 100,000 coins, and you end up with a whole lot of coins, a huge host of coins that have the same doubling. That, folks, is not collectible doubling. See, here's another example. See the bottom stick of the E right here. See how it's concave, how it's curved inward? And the top of the T here has a little bit of a curve. I'm seeing this on all of these coins, which means, let's see if we do have a different die altogether. The same markers are not there, and we still have that same slight curvature. And so we have another example of the same thing, which tells us multiple dies, same doubling, you have a hub issue, not a die issue. And when you double the hub, then you're doubling a lot of dies with the design, which doubles millions and millions of coins. So chances of having something valuable out of that are extremely slim. There are a number of different master die doubles in the Lincoln Cent series. I go through a couple of them and describe them to you. I'm sure you've seen them. How about the 1955 Lincoln Cents with doubling on the top of the BE of Liberty? How about the 1957 Lincoln Cents, both Denver and Philadelphia, that have doubling on the bottom of the O and the D of God? Yep. How about the 1960 large date, both Philadelphia and Denver, that have a little bit of doubling in the E of we? Or 1972 Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco in both proof and mint state that have what appears to be a recut N of in, and a little bit of doubling on the E of we, and a little bit of doubling in some of the other letters. That's a master die double that we are very familiar with, because a lot of people look through their 1972 pennies for doubling, and they find a ton of these things. See, there's another one right there. That one appears to be a Class 6 doubled die, but it really isn't, because it's a doubled working hub, as it appears. A little bit of diagnosis and analysis of what you have when you're looking over a group of coins versus one coin. One coin that could be, you never know, could be a double die. You get into a group of coins or a large trove of coins of the same date and mint mark, an entire roll or a roll batch, and you start noticing the same doubling over and over and over and over again on different dies. Well, you can arrive at a very safe conclusion that these are probably hub or master die doubling of some form, or working hub doubling of some form. That's what we have here. Well, I've really never noticed it before. I'm assuming it's likely that Denver and San Francisco mint coins also have the same issue. And the reason that that's likely is because in 1947, all of the dies were created in the Philadelphia die shop. They were stored without mint marks. And when the branch mints, Denver and San Francisco, would order new dies, they'd get them out of the closet, punch a mint mark in them, and send them off. But the dies with the designs were created long before those mint marks were hand punched into the dies. So any doubling that would take effect on any of the dies could easily have had any other mint on them. Imagine if the big 1955 double die had a S mint mark in it. That was very possible, but it did not happen. It wasn't until much, much later, in the 1990s, actually, that the Denver Mint opened a die shop and actually started creating dies of their own. Prior to that, all the dies were minted or made on the hubbing press in Philadelphia. Let's see, Josie is next. Josie Fletcher. I've got a photograph of her with her grandpa, Jim Fletcher. I need to get posted. Actually, it's a picture of her with her coins that she received from Copper Coins, and she's got a huge grin on her face. Very cute. So we have a bunting young numismatist amongst us, Miss Josie Fletcher. And here up next, coin number 10 goes to Eric. Let's see what we have for Eric. I got into a little bit of a tie-up with regard to being able to get reveals done before today. So I'm kind of falling behind the curve a little bit. I've got this one reveal I'm going to be able to get done this evening. Then I've got 3 more that I'll be doing tomorrow morning. During the morning hours, I'll be getting the remainder of this past week's reveals completed and finished. And then tomorrow evening, after the roll reveal show for this week, I will be doing the first half of the proof pull. Or not proof pull, I'm sorry. The BU singles pull. The BU singles. Just like the pull we did a couple of weeks ago, we have another one coming up this week. I welcome anyone who is not involved in it yet that you can get involved just by letting me know that you would like to be involved, and I can get you an invoice sent if you're already a registered bidder. $3.50 per pull, maximum of 10 per person. You can get BU coins, BU or uncirculated coins, all Lincoln cents, from roughly 1933, 1934, all the way up to 1958, and everything in between, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mint coins. I'm not sure where they produced the punches for the mint marks, but I know that back in the day, all the punches were in Philadelphia, and dies were created in Philadelphia and punched with mint marks in Philadelphia, which is why it wasn't that difficult to assume that you could have a D punched with an S on the same die because the punches were in the same room. Gotcha. Dennis, did you want in for 10? But yeah, the 1944 D over S Lincoln cents, well, the S mint marks and the D mint marks were included in those coins in the same room, presumably around the same time. My assumption as to what happened in those cases were the Philadelphia Mint would make a couple of hundred dies, and then Denver would order 50 dies. So somebody would go and get a box of 50 dies and bring it in to the die room, and they would punch mint marks in those dies. And let's say somebody grabbed a couple of dies from a box that had already been punched with S mint marks, and S, the San Francisco Mint, had canceled part of their order or canceled the order altogether, so they would try to remove the mint mark or not, and then punch a D mint mark in that die to send it to Denver. So now you have this S mint mark that is partially removed from the die that they punch a D mint mark over, hoping nobody would notice. And of course, back then, I don't think anybody would. They punch it with that D mint mark. They stick it in whatever satchel that they've got that they mail those off or send them off in. And they get to the Denver Mint, get hung on a press, I start making coins with them. As they're making coins, nobody really notices these coins have a D mint mark over an S mint mark, and they get out into circulation. Then collectors like us eventually find them. And people like Eric at the fun show a couple of weeks ago finds one of them in uncirculated condition in a roll that someone was pulling apart for grading. The coin wasn't the best condition. The person left the coin inside the roll, let Eric look through the roll, and Eric found it in the roll and bought it for little of nothing. It is so fun to be a collector with knowledge. Knowledge is the key. .46 over D. I have found exactly 3 of those in my entire life. One of them was in 1999 in a vault in a coin shop that had been a bank at the turn of the past century. But it was a coin shop, and the guy had the vault open, and that's where he stored a lot of his safes and other things. I sat in that vault and went through rolls, and I found a 46S over D in there. The next one I found was actually in a circulated lot of coins. There was a 1946S over D in this circulated lot. I pulled it out, and I took care of it. And then the next one was in a box of rolls that I purchased, which there was an uncirculated roll, partial roll. It wasn't a full roll. It was only about 25 coins, but it was in there. It was a nice BU coin. I sold that one at auction here on YouTube. I believe, wasn't it you, Crispy, who bought it? Is Crispy here? I think Crispy is the one who purchased that coin. Those are the only 3 I've ever found, though. I've had a couple of others that I had purchased and sold, but I purchased them at variety value and sold them at variety value. Yeah, it was Crispy. I got pretty good memory when it comes to the coins I buy and sell. I don't really know why I remember stuff like that. I just do. This one's going to go to Parvis here. It's coin number 18. Not yet found anything in this roll. It's like I said, 1947 is either a really, really nice one, you find good stuff in it, or it's going to be kind of dry. And this one so far seems that it's kind of dry. It's got some pretty decent coins in it. Coins seem to be in pretty good condition. But I don't believe I'm hitting any die varieties here so far. Up to coin number 19, got nothing in here. Let's see what comes with coin number 19. Yeah, got a little bit of a Larry on this one, couple of little tiny carbon spots. Now, you have some people tell you that you can remove little bits of carbon like this that have not yet completely eaten into the surface of the coin. But the way you do it is with flash freezing. I've been told that you can freeze a red copper coin with little black spots like this on it, and then heat it, and then freeze it, and then heat it, and the expansion and contraction of the surface, the metal surface of the coin, will eventually pop that carbon right off. In some cases, I'm sure that works. In other cases, I'm sure it does not work. I can't tell you exactly what the cases are, where it would work or where it would not work. But I can tell you there's some possibility that it's true, because carbon rests on the top of the surface of the metal. And it is actually a different composition of material, much, much softer, much lower atomic weight than the copper itself. Ooh, we have a double die. Let's see. I'll keep looking, see if I can see any other part of it. See anything else. Look on the inside of the O of 1. At the top of the inside of the O of 1, there is doubling up toward the top. You can see that there is another O. Inside that O, hub just slightly to the south. Hello, Taco John. This one goes to Carl. One of our markers on the same side is going to be that huge dot between the N and the T of descent. That's a kind of a very unusual looking dot right there. Like it might be some sort of a hardness test or something. But your O definitely has some doubling on the inside of it. I'm not sure if this one's listed by anybody or not. At the moment, I'm not sure. But it is a double die. And we will be pulling this double die out. Let me check the obverse again. Look for any really nice markers that we can use. There is a die scratch coming off the lower right corner of the 1 of the date that we can use. And we can say, when we see the date on the next one, that we may have one of those double dies. So there it is. You can see that little scratch, little nub of a scratch right there coming off the lower right corner of the 1. And so that coin goes to Carl. Coin number 20. Now let's look at number 21. Of course, we're going to be looking at all of these coins again to see if we might have missed anything. However, that's something I generally notice, so I'm going to tell you your chances are kind of slim that up to this point we've seen one of those. I'm not going to say we didn't skip any, because, well, that would be presumptuous of me. I like the idea that these coins don't fall into an abyss as soon as I look at them. I've got a couple of spots on. I don't like spots. And we can always check them again before we send them out. Especially once we're gone through the roll and we know what everything else is in the roll, we can always go back and take a look. The RU of trust. You talking about on your coin, Carl, or on the next one? I'm pulling out the next one just in case. Don't see anything on that one. Yours. Okay. I go back to coin number 20 here. I'll take a look at yours here between the R and the U of trust. Die gouge. It's a die gouge there. Little die scratch coming off the left side of the U toward the R. That's another good marker for this. Yep, it's a die scratch. Nice one, too. Coin number 22 now, Farm Dog. Well, we've got a die crack on the shoulder. Something I haven't seen so far in this roll that I can remember. And nothing I can see here on the reverse. So let's move on. Coin number 23. 23 now for Raymond Longy. And Raymond gets it looks normal here. The 1947 double die obverse number 1, which is a very nice class 5 double die, shows mostly in the date and on trust. Quite scarce to rare in uncirculated condition. I found a few of them over time, many years' time, but they are not something you necessarily expect to pop up on a regular basis. They don't show up very often. You can always hope for them. Doesn't cost you anything extra to hope. So far, I'm not seeing any promise on these obverses that we're going to run into the double die reverse, and so far I'm right. This one's got a little gouge below the bust above the shoulder, or near the shoulder fold area, right there. And a die scratch here, and a die clash in the throat. Just to show you that we can find markers on pretty much any coin, which is a good thing because that allows us to compare one to the next to the next. Die crack off the lower right wheat. There's another little die dot anomaly there next to the E of 1. Die scratch running through the O and the N of 1. Heavy die scratch below the RIB of pluribus. This has got machine doubling running through pluribus. You can see the doubling there in pluribus. That's machine doubling. That's not a hub doubling situation. So yeah, you can find a lot of things. A lot of things. Oh, we've been here for almost an hour. Has it been that long? Or did we just get... No, we just got started. Okay. We haven't been here for an hour. We've been here for 26 minutes. I learned how to read. It's a good thing, knowing how to read. All right, here we go with another 1947. This one doesn't appear to be the double die reverse either by marker. Let's check and see. It is not. That one there is for Mr. Fletcher. Let's check now. Coin number 26. 26 for Carl. Wanda, April 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere around there is a weekend in April that us guys are going to be getting together going up to the Dalton, Georgia show. You're not very far away from Dalton. Might consider going to the show. Because if you do, we can meet up. Since you didn't make it to the fun show. Anybody else lives in Georgia? It's always a good show to go to. It's at a convention center right off I-75 in Dalton, Georgia. Yeah, but it's... let me look at my calendar here. Because I've got the... That's not the right place to look at a calendar, Chuck. It's right here. And of course I've got it moved so that you can't see it. But let's see, let me check April here. It's going to be April 14th and 15th. April 14th and 15th. Show in Dalton. We should be there. Here's coin number 27 now. This one for Crispy. Let's see what we can find for Crispy. And ooh, we got some spots here. Starting to get a little more serious about the spots. A couple of these coins here. They're still nice and shiny, but they got spots on them. That's not good. Not good at all. Good thing that wasn't the double die, right? Anybody else happens to be able to go to Dalton, Georgia during the 14th and 15th to go to the show there, we will probably be taking seating arrangements for a dinner that we could go have together. Everybody kind of show up and just have dinner together and have a good time. If you let me know you're there, I can make sure to include you as part of the seating arrangement. If you're going to show up. Anytime before, I would say, the 10th of April would be a good time to let me know. So you got a while. But don't sit on your derriere too long because, well, if you don't let me know until we're actually there, we may have a little bit of trouble squeezing you in on the reservation. Malcolm, you're not too far away. If you can happen to squeeze away from work, it's probably about a 5-hour drive, 4.5, 5-hour drive for you. Take 331 up through Florala and go up to Montgomery. Take the highway over to Columbus, Georgia, and go north from there. Or you could go up to Atlanta and take I-85 across. Or, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different thing. I-85 won't do you any good. Not unless you go to Birmingham. Then it's I-20. So you might want to take I-20. Either way you do it, it's not very far away. It's kind of up in the hills a little bit. Last year when we went to that show, we actually got a flurry of snow on us when we first got there. We were all taking a bit of shock because it was Eric who whines when it gets below 70 degrees. Oh, there's Mark. Mark, you're in Georgia. But yeah, Malcolm's in Panama City. Not really sure who else is in Georgia. I know that Chris Hurley's in Georgia. Chris Hurley might be able to come. In fact, I'd love for him to be able to be there because, well, that would be my first opportunity to get to meet him in person. I've talked with him a bunch on the phone. You're 4.5 hours away from Dalton, Mark? Were you from the southern part of the state? At 4.5 hours, you'd have to be from the southern part. Here's one from Mr. French. Coin number 32 now. Oop, that one's got a carbon spot. And, well, this could possibly be the double die reverse. So I'm seeing a marker that looks like it might belong to the double die reverse. Let's check and see. 3, 2, 1. No. No. This is not the doubling you're looking for. Hour and a half from Tallahassee. See, not far from Valdosta. I used to take a rest in Valdosta once in a while when I lived in Florida. I'd go up to Missouri, and I would take I-75. I'd go down to the way I would go from Missouri to Florida is I'd take Highway 60 across Missouri into Paducah, Kentucky, and then I would take I-24 to Chattanooga, and then I-75 home. And so I-75 going all the way through Georgia. You got like Tifton and having a hard time remembering all the town names, but there's Valdosta as one of them. That was a nice drive. There's a town there where there was a Best Western hotel, and And I always used to try to stop at that Best Western Hotel because it was inexpensive, and it was clean, and it was comfortable, and they had a good breakfast too. All right, here's next up. This one goes to Klaus Blem. And it doesn't look like I have anything special on this one. Well, Mark, we will miss you for sure if you're not able to show, but it would certainly be wonderful to get to meet you. Talk with you in person. We usually have a really good time when we do our little dinners. A dinner and a drink never hurt anybody. What's a supper speeder, Wanda? Is that a super speeder, supper speeder? What is that? Is that a speeding ticket? I don't know. CAD Roll Hunter. For those of you who don't know, the CAD part of CAD Roll Hunter, CAD is the abbreviation for Canadian dollar. So CAD Roll Hunter actually stands for Canadian Dollar Roll Hunter. I'm guessing you are talking about speeding tickets. Place I'm thinking of starts with a C, I believe, and I think it has 2 L's in it. Figure that one out. Right along the interstate, I-75, somewhere in central Georgia, way south of Macon, north of Tifton. Ant gets the next coin, number 36. Cordell, that's it. That's the one. Maybe it only has 1 L. I haven't been to the Chattanooga show because Chattanooga is just far enough away from me to make it not really pleasant to make that drive. Got some spots on this one. Not a good thing. Don't ever like that idea. Let's see. Number 37 now. Klaus. Back to Klaus. Let's see what we get for Klaus this time. Looks like a nice bright coin. It is a nice bright coin. Flip in Arkansas. I know exactly where that is, actually. Flip in Arkansas. Big giant hop, skip, and jump away from Toad Suck. Believe it or not, there is a town in Arkansas named Toad Suck. There's a lot of podunk towns, a lot of podunk sheriffs. Barney Fife get his bullet out of his pocket. Tell you what kind of power he's got. He writes you a ticket. He offers to take you to jail if you don't have the money to pay for it. Yeah. Not finding much of anything in this roll except that one pretty nice looking double die for Carl. Let's see what... Oh, my gosh. Oh, yes, there it is. Right there. Who is this? Jim? Bam. DDO number 1 for Jim Fletcher. FS listed beautiful double die. Let me turn it around this way. It makes the doubling show up nicer. There you go. Look at that. That's flipping beautiful, folks. Jimmy just got yourself a couple of $100. Look at that. Here is proof once again, folks. Proof once again. I don't look at these coins until we look at these coins. That's super. What'd you call in the auction, JJ? That we'd find a 47 double die? Yeah, the only problem is I can't give you half of this coin. It'd have to be Jim gives you half of this coin because I ain't making nothing on this. That is sweet, boys and girls. That is very sweet. Hello, Mark Money Tech. Good evening. Well, there we go. Jim Fletcher got himself a beautiful DDO number 1. Oh, I didn't look at the reverse on the coin at all. We have to look at the reverse and see how nice it is. Here, let me pull it back to a digestible. There we go. Focal length here. Well, it is a nice coin. I'm going to say a 64 red. Very nice. Coin number 39. Let's see how many more of these we can find. Here's one for Taco John. Let's see what we get for Taco John here. Nope. Looks like this one's going to be a normal 1947. Full red, $225. That's about what I was thinking, Sandigger. I think we're pretty close there. There's Kelly Ray. How you doing, Kelly Ray? All right, here's one for Parvis. Let's see what we can do for Parvis. See if we can find one of those. Oh, nope. Nope. This one's going to be a die I've seen a few times before in this roll. This is actually the one with the die crack that runs right across the shoulder right here. But you can barely see it with all the metalling from the softer strike. This is not the double die reverse. But this, folks, is why we do what we do. We search and we search. And then we search some more. And eventually, we are handsomely rewarded. Nice little die chip right there. It looks like that looks like a little pearl tie pin or something he's got on right there. A little die chip. We can call that the jeweled vest. Nothing else here. At least we know that you can still find a DDO1 once in a while in these rolls. Let's see what we have here. Well, this is not one of them. Oh, look at that. There's another different double die obverse. You see it? Get that in focus. Look at that eye. That's a nice double die right there. It's nothing like the DDO number 1, but it is nice nonetheless. This one goes to Taco John. So we have a nice doubled eyelid. 1947. I just found an eyelid something like that one at the show this past weekend. It was the only variety I found at the show. It was a 1942. And the eye looked almost exactly like this one. Let's see what we have next. Anything on the reverse? I've done it before. Don't let it do it to you. You get so excited that you found something on the obverse, you don't flip the coin over and look at the reverse. I don't know, JJ. Is that what it is, you think? All I know is it's coin number 43, and it's our third variety for the roll. Let's see what we have next here. I'm almost wanting to power push through the roll just to see if there's any other DDO ones in here. Because, well, that's obviously the feature of the roll so far. I wish Jim were here. If Jim were here, he could see live what he's getting. Because I like it when the people are actually in the reveal at the time their coin comes up. That's just super cool. Machine doubling on the T of Trust. Is that on that doubled eyelid? Let's take a look at it real quick. Really see any machine doubling on Trust. Could be a different coin, but I don't see it on this one. All right, next up, coin number 45. 45, Mr. French. I'll have to refocus it here real quick. Maybe. Maybe not. Nope. Nothing here, unfortunately. This one could be the double die reverse. Could be. I see a die scratch in about the right place. Oh my God. Do you see what I see? I've only seen one of these ever. This is a massive double die reverse. Oh, I'm so sorry, Holly. Let us know if there's anything we can do, sweetie. Would you look at the doubling on this coin? What the French? Right? Would you look at that? This is DDR number 1. It's an FS listed DDR, I do believe. And probably one of the nicest double die reverses in all mint state wheat cents. It's a high class, high quality double die reverse right here. This one will probably be one photographed for the website. This is a high value coin right here. Let's look at the obverse again. This is the obverse of the same coin. Few little stains, few little hits here and there, but we're still talking about MS64 at least. Very, very nice. It's not FS listed. I thought it was. It should be. Look how thick that is. I mean, just look at it, right? This is one of those ones that's worth taking a little bit of extra time. Look how thick that doubling is. This is just, yeah, if this isn't FS listed, it should be. That's for sure. And it's doubled, yeah, absolutely everywhere. It's got doubling all over the reverse. Very sweet, heavy doubling. This is effectively a Class 6. Could be Class 2 plus 6, but it's probably just Class 6. And it's so strong, it has separation lines in it. So there you go. Mr. French gets one of the nicest double die reverse coins I have ever seen. So we have a total of 4 die varieties in here, and 2 of them are worth hundreds apiece. Here's one for Parvis. Let's see if we get anything for Parvis. Now we've got hopes set for all kinds of niceties. Oh, and by the way, JJ, I think I saw you doing that rewind and wanted to see if that was a DD01. It was not. There was a hit on the 4. I saw the extra thickness there and got excited for a half a second till I realized it wasn't anything. This is another different die, one don't remember seeing yet. Look at a normal reverse. Kind of makes that double die pop out at you even more. All right, that's number 46. Here's number 47 going back to Taco John again. And Taco John. We look a little better. We look a little harder. Because we found something, and we know these coins all came together with something. At least anybody here can say, I have a coin from the roll in which there was a DD01 and a DDR1. This one from Sissy. We've got 3 coins left. This is one of those 3. This one's got a minor doubled eyelid north. There's a little tiny hump right on top of the eyelid. That's a little minor eyelid. This little guy right up here. There's a doubled eyelid up there. No, Tyler, it wasn't the first I've ever found, but it was the first I've ever found during a live broadcast, that's for sure. I think it's the second one of those I've ever owned. And of course, I only own it until I send it off in the mail. But I own it right now. I owned it when it was sitting in this roll for probably 10 or 15 years in my closet. All right, that was for Sissy. I got 2 coins left. Number 49 goes back to Mr. French again. DD01. Come on. No. Not DD01. Not the doubled eyelid. Reverse. Neither one of the double die reverses either. Not the big one, not the O. 4 different varieties found. 2 obverses and 2 reverses in this roll. Only found 1 of each. Coin number 50. We go back to Canadian Roll Hunter. See if we have anything to send to the Great White North. Yeah, nothing there. Yep, the same double diavers as Sissy. Let me get focused in really close on this so we can see it a little bit better. Turn the lighting up just a little bit too. And it's right here. This little hump right here on the top of the eyelid. That's another eyelid. It's another eyelid right there. Now when I back out and I turn the light back down, you can see it. Because it's been pointed out. You can see it now. There's one of those on 47D that I knew about. There's also one on 37D. That's the first one I've known on a 47 plane. So I'm, of course, who knows? It could already be listed, and I'm just forgetting because, well, I forget. Told myself to write it down, but I forgot what to write. All right, that's it. It's the end of that roll. We have... What do we have? We have... was this one of the double dies? I can't remember. Cadroll Hunter here. Is that the... Yeah, that is. Okay, so Cadroll Hunter gets one of those. Sissy gets one of those. There may be more of them in the roll that I could have missed. But then we've got 4 other die varieties here. 2 of them are major. 2 of them are minor. So we've got a total of 6 die varieties in this roll that I know about so far. We've got 2 excerpts that are going to be taken out of here as a OMG moment. As soon as I can get my software working where I can do that easily, I'm going to go through and I'm going to make a best of roll reveal finds. You guys all take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and each other. That's what Lester Holt says every day. And that's what we've got for this time around. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We've got 3 more reveals to do before the roll reveal show for this coming week. Make sure you get in on that show if you want to take advantage of finding these wonderful, great coins in the rolls. It's going to be at 7 p.m. tomorrow. 7 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Time. Make sure that you're registered with us first. Send us an email and get registered if you're not already. And that's all I have. I appreciate it, folks. You guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.